Hello yet again, fellow supporters. It's your guy Six Paths Dunka back again with another video. And before we do anything as it pertains to this video today, I just want to take a second to thank you good people from the bottom of my heart, because without any of you guys, I wouldn't have hit 10k subscribers. It's been a long time coming. I started doing Boruto content when TBV VORTEX Chapter 1 first dropped. That's like a year and 8 months. And since then, it's been quite the journey. 10k subscribers in under 2 years. Hopefully we could get 20k even faster. Now that we basically have our foundation set, it's time to push it even further. Time to go above and beyond. And I know we can do it, man. But I need everyone's help to do that. That's all I really wanted to say. I'm grateful for everything that's happened up to this point. But I understand the journey doesn't get any easier from here. This is just the beginning. I'm ready to do it, man. And hopefully I have you guys alongside me for the ride. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. I'm pretty sure everyone is still semi-focused on Sarada's MS reveal and her new abilities, and I still will get into that, just at a later time. But something else happened that I think a lot of people are a bit more interested in than Sarada, and that's of course Boruto's interference with the Sunagakure operation. So how did we even get here in the first place? Okay, so all this started with the death of Yodo. It turns out Sarada used her as a sacrifice so Sarada could finally accept herself, stop mentally nerfing herself, and awaken her MS. This death was crucial for Koji's long-term plan of strengthening Konoha's fighting power, because to bring down Jura, they're gonna need everyone's power combined. Sarada in her new MS, Himawari in the power of the Nine Tails, a newly awakened Kawaki with no limiters, Sage Mode Mitsuki with whatever amp he gets in the near future, all alongside Boruto, who will be at the forefront of this fight, and whatever amp he eventually gets, which most likely will be the Jogan. It could be, could not, but he will get a power-up sooner or later. So this is the plan Koji hashed out to defeat Jura, and in this chapter he showed us no matter what it takes, he's prepared to do whatever to get to that outcome, even sacrifice other comrades. Boruto was visibly upset with Koji that he withheld all this information from him and did things without consulting with him first. This was a conflict that was brewing for a few chapters now. It mostly started to become visible in chapter 17 when Koji was being rather avoidant when Boruto asked him about the chances that Sarada and the others failed the mission. It seemed like Koji wasn't trying to really give all that much information to Boruto on the matter, and it ended up backfiring majorly. Koji just told Boruto why he couldn't go to the battlefield. He said it was mainly because Jura had his eyes set on him, so if he went to Sunagakure, Jura would appear and kill him. He's seen several patterns that had this outcome, so it was in his best interest that he stays away from this conflict. What he didn't tell Boruto is that if he joined the battle, Sarada would have never awoken to her MS and new abilities. And because he didn't tell Boruto this, along with the death of Yodo, that created this new conflict that we see here now. I said numerous of times that the #1 factor to keep this relationship between Boruto and Koji going is trust. They have to trust each other to the point where they're completely in sync as it pertains to the plan Koji had. And as you can see, the trust obviously wasn't there. Koji didn't trust Boruto to go along with the mission because of his kind-hearted and protective nature. Koji feels in order to truly save the future, some very difficult decisions must be made. Boruto's most likely not going to go along with these decisions, so he opted to not even bring it up to Boruto, as he felt it was the best that he didn't tell him, because he knew this is how he react. Long story short, Koji doesn't trust Boruto to make logical decisions and not bring his own personal feelings into the mission. This goes all the way back to chapter 4 during the mission to eliminate the Ten Tails before the emergence of the Shinju. The plan going into Konoha was to find Code, beat him up, and force him to give up the location of the Ten Tails so Boruto could destroy it to avoid the birth of the Shinju completely. The chances of the Shinju being born into the world was high, so that means them actually avoiding this entire thing completely was very low. But they decided to take the chance anyway because there's still a chance, right? When the Shinju were born, the plan was for Boruto to retreat back to Koji, but he didn't do that. Instead, Boruto challenged the Shinju, all while they was in one spot. Which now looking back, it seemed like Boruto was trying to get himself killed. There was no reason he should have tried to fight in this scenario. When he finally snapped out of it and retreated, he got an earful from Koji for doing this. All Boruto could say was that he was sorry, he did it because he panicked. I have a feeling when Boruto did this, Koji's trust in Boruto's decision making slightly diminished, because he found out once Boruto becomes overwhelmed, he starts to lose composure. He's just too emotional to deal with this kind of thing alone. So he knew if it came down to it, if he had to sacrifice one of Boruto's comrades to save the future, he wouldn't go along with it. He would try to go behind Koji's back and do his own thing. And again, Koji was right in that judgment. But now because Koji lost trust in Boruto, Boruto has also lost trust in Koji, resulting in this conflict you see here now. Boruto feels if Koji is purposely withholding information from him, then there might come a time where he sacrifices someone really close to him for the sake of the future, like Himawari, Sarada, or even Kawaki. Boruto doesn't know Koji's end goal. He doesn't know how valuable these characters actually are to him. So he probably thinks Koji sees them as expendable, and it's all because they don't properly communicate their ideals to each other. So now, since he's seen how Koji is moving, he asks if Konohamaru is going to defeat Matsuri, but this time he demands an answer. But Koji just says the same old thing. Not being specific in his answer, he's basically saying no matter if he lives or dies, you just have to stay out the battle because of Jura. And I mean, come on, if you have common sense, you would know he's obviously not telling Boruto a straight up answer because Konohamaru is supposed to die. Koji knows if he tells Boruto the truth, he's gonna go marching right to the battlefield to save him. But if he lies to Boruto, the trust is completely lost. He might even stop listening to Koji altogether. So yeah, you can say Koji was put in an impossible situation here. And to be honest, if I was in his shoes, even I don't know what I would have done. But what's done is done. Because we can see Boruto more than took the hint. Because Koji didn't give a straight up answer, he just assumed the worst and used flying Raijin to head right over to Konohamaru and destroy Matsuri before she got the chance to devour him. And Boruto is not afraid of Jura whatsoever. He wasn't questioning whether he should go or not. Now what lies after this is what this video is mainly about. Because Jura now knows where Boruto is, and he most likely is headed to Sunagakure to carry out Koji's foresight. So what happens now? What's gonna happen to Boruto? Since Boruto did exactly what Koji told him not to do, he most likely created another timeline from the one currently. Because in this timeline, let's be honest, we know Boruto isn't gonna die. There's gonna be a way he comes out the situation alive. I'm sure we're all up for surprises and whatnot, but as it pertains to this situation right here, I'm pretty sure we all know what's gonna happen here. Something is gonna happen that's gonna bail Boruto out of this situation because the odds of him going up against Jura and just giving him belt is extremely low. So something is gonna happen. Whether that being Kawaki popping up to help Boruto, because remember the deal they made back in what I believe to be chapter 15, to work together and put their differences aside until the Shinju are dealt with, which I will make a video on very soon. But today, the focus isn't going to be Kawaki joining the battle, it isn't going to be Kashin Koji, Mitsuki, Konohamaru, or anyone like that. It's going to be much worse. This situation is about to be bad, because what we're about to witness will be one of the craziest moments in Two Blue Vortex. Yes, I'm talking about the awakening of Momoshiki, the character who's been missing from the story for about 21 chapters now. If I'm Ikimoto, this is the best possible way to reintroduce Momoshiki back into the story. If you want to have Boruto go up against Jura and live, I feel like this is one of the best possible ways to go about it. I believe in chapter 22, Jura and Boruto aren't going to fight right away. I feel like they're going to have a conversation. Jura still seems to be fascinated about certain things as it pertains to Boruto and the world around him. He could end up asking him why he has so much information on them. And also, how did he know about their emergence? Things like that. The conversation could go deep. Maybe they talk about Naruto and the rebirth of the Nine Tails and Himawari. I'm saying this because these are the things that Jura seemed to show interest in at some point in the story. It just seems like a missed opportunity if these two characters don't have some type of real meaningful interaction besides just fighting. So with that being said, Boruto's in a pinch. When they do eventually fight, just because Boruto may have changed the timeline by saving Konohamaru, I don't think that actually helps his odds in this fight. He's not getting much help either way. If Kawaki doesn't appear, his options are a weakened and injured Konohamaru, a drained Mitsuki, Sarada is still unconscious and is low on chakra from the use of Ohirume, and Araya just being Araya. What's the use of coming to save Konohamaru and everyone else if Jura comes and they die anyway? I really think he's going solo on this one. It might be the only choice he has. And during this fight, Momoshiki can make a very long awaited return. And there's a few ways his return can manifest. One of the ways is just from Boruto exhausting himself. Throughout the series, this has proved to be the easiest way for Boruto's body to be hijacked by Momoshiki. Boruto fights too long and he drains his chakra to the point where it becomes a challenge to keep control over his body. Either exhaustion or he just falls unconscious. Actually, most of the times he had his body hijacked was when he was knocked out or unconscious due to exhaustion. So a time Momoshiki could have took over Boruto's body was back in chapter 13, when he fell unconscious due to being sniped by Jura. The only problem is that it probably wouldn't have been the best time to do so. Momoshiki and Boruto share a body, so if he's injured, that will hinder Momoshiki as well. If he's low on chakra, then Momoshiki is also low on chakra. Which is why back in part 1 he needed to borrow some of Naruto's chakra to kill Boro. The best opportunity for Momoshiki to take control is if Boruto is forced to use the power of the karma. When he willingly uses it, it gives Momoshiki a good opportunity to take control, and at near full power too. So if Momoshiki appears again, the best way for that to happen is for Boruto to rely on the karma. He already stated even the slightest activation of the karma makes him feel Momoshiki's presence. Soon Boruto might have no choice but to rely on that power if he doesn't want to die. We already know he can't fight Jura in base, but if he was to activate his karma, could he stand a better chance even with the risk it brings? I feel like it all lines up, because even Momoshiki would want to fight Jura, strictly because he wants to kill Boruto. Momoshiki will do anything to protect his vessel. That's just his over-possessive nature he has towards Boruto. So I feel this will be the main reason we're gonna see a Momoshiki versus Jura fight. But above all else, just seeing Boruto fight again is gonna be awesome. The last time we seen him fight was against Hidari, so this time I want to see more fast-paced fighting. He's not gonna be able to use Uzuhiko in this fight because Jura can fly, and one of the main rules when it comes to using that jutsu is staying grounded. So this time I fully expect more use of the flying Raijin alongside some good old Kenjutsu style fighting. So tell me, how do you think a Boruto versus Jura fight would go? Do you think Boruto is cooked beyond return? Or do you think the fight will be closer than we all think? Let me know how you think this whole interaction will end down below in the comment section. And again, I thank you all for 10k subs. If you guys keep supporting me, I'll keep on pumping out videos like this for y'all. Let's keep this going. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more similar to this in the future, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you know when I upload or go live for chapter spoilers. And until next time, I'll see you boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.